The Gauteng Education Department is calling for parents at the Leondale High School to enforce discipline at home. The department says it's concerned after a video of the pupils smoking dagga circulated on social media. The department says it's also received reports of late coming. Parents of the pupils caught on camera are holding a meeting ahead of the disciplinary hearing tomorrow. For more on this, I'm joined now by eNCA's Heidi Giokos, who is tracking that story. So Heidi, today there was this meeting with the department and parents who are, the parents of the 36 pupils that are seen in that video. Of course, this comes ahead of the disciplinary process for those pupils getting underway tomorrow. What came out of this meeting? Do we know what came out of this meeting today and what the position of the parents is?
Yes, so the meeting was quite a short meeting with Gauteng Education Department, just providing some answers and clarity for the parents as there was a meeting ahead of the disciplinary process that's expected tomorrow. What we do know is 36 learners have been suspended last week or in the course of the week due to a video circulating which shows these pupils smoking dagga and actually calling it Dagga Day. And of course this was circulated on social media. The department in the province got wind of it and decided to investigate. This is when they decided to suspend 36 of Leondale High learners. So the department went today to say that they are dealing with the matter. They are trying their very best to figure out how something like this, because we're not speaking about one learner, it's 36 learners, and we're not sure if there are more learners that were actually involved in this and they just weren't seen in the video, or if they just have not been suspended as yet. But the department is calling on parents and the community in the area to just try and educate learners and educate your child at home to say this is not the right thing that you should be doing. You should not be going to school late, and just overall education to try and think that most of the time schools say things start at home and they learn things from home. So what the department was trying to do today was just to get a message across to parents to say this is a collective effort. We all need to be in this together to try and figure out what happened and try and make sure it doesn't happen again. We got a chance to speak to Gauteng Education spokesperson Steve Mabona after the meeting. Let's listen to what he had to say.
Right, Heidi, I do suspect that we don't have that clip ready just as yet. The conversation you are mentioning about, this is broader than just the department laying down the law and the rules. It's in the community. It's about parents at home teaching young people the correct path of behavior, etc., and warning them about the dangers and pitfalls of things such as the abuse of drugs, etc. Those are, I would say, naturally. I mean, naturally, that's how it is. But you also got to hear from the parents. What are they saying in this particular context?
Yes, I think the parents are angered. They are very confused as to how something like this could possibly happen. While this is a very big school, at the end of the day, when you take your child to school, you expect there to be discipline. You expect there to be rules that learners adhere to, and there should be some oversight, especially from the educators, the principal, and everybody at school. So what the parents indicated during the meeting was that they are not satisfied with the level of communication that they are receiving from the SGB, the school governing body, and the school itself. And they feel as though there should be more communication from all involved so they can understand what's actually going on. So what I picked up from the meeting was the fact that it seems as though the parents are indicating that it has to reach crisis mode before they are told that there's actually a problem at the school. This video had to be circulated before they actually knew what was going on. And as much as they understand the role that communities play and parents play at home and what is being taught at home and the discipline at home, it's also the responsibility of the school to say, let's communicate better as to what exactly is going on. So all the parents are asking for is for better communication and for everybody to work together. Now, what's crucial here is that tomorrow the disciplinary process is going to begin, where you're going to see these 36 learners, of course, having to explain themselves as to what truly happened. But I think questions are also going to be raised as where were the educators? Why were these learners allowed out of school? How were they smoking dagga on school premises without anybody picking it up? And, the big question also is, this couldn't have been the first time. If they had done it once, they probably found an opportunity and said, well, nobody's caught us, we can do it time and time again. So this is, of course, where the department and SGB and the school is going to have to answer to, but also the parents needing to understand how their children got involved in this. I'm not sure if we have the bite of the parents.
Let's take a listen to it.
Yes.
The SGB also did address some of the issues, and they gave us confidence in those issues that they are going to address them. There were instances where, as parents, we asked, and SGB said this will be the teachers' issues, where they also are shocked to hear, and then they will address them. And SGB actually is doing a lot of work for the school as well. But I see a gap where I'm sitting, a gap between SGBV, or is it SGBV, and then the learners, the teachers, because some of the things, we felt like some other things were cut on top. There's so much intense issues that are happening here, but we would want a proper communication from the school.
So that's one of the parents that you spoke to, Heidi. There's one aspect that I'd like to understand. In situations like these, we always look to the broader environment, the immediate community. If it's violence, is there violence, crime and gangsterism in the area? If it's drugs, the same conversation. And yesterday I spoke to Steve Mabona. And at the time I got the impression that it wasn't the impression of the department that this is a problem school. But I'm hearing now talk about, other behavioral problems, late coming. And you alluded to parents saying that they don't hear anything from the school until things reach a crisis mode. So are we any clearer as to the context, the milieu of that school? Is it a problem school in a problematic community?
It seems as though there might be some problems at the school, but not necessarily a problematic school. And of course, the department will say that it's got a grip of its schools, and they try their very best to enforce discipline and to make sure that the rules are abided by. However, you do have problematic learners, and this is what seems to be emerging here. But just getting a sense from the parents, it seems as though there are problems at the school, and this is not being addressed on time. And it just seems as though if one problem is let go of, it's exacerbated, and another problem arises, and another problem arises. So I don't want to go as far, because I'm sure Steve Mambona is watching, and he might just message me and say, Heidi, you shouldn't have said that. But I wouldn't go as far as saying that school is problematic, but just getting a sense from the parents, they do find problems at the school, and they do feel as though more can be done to address this. And, Tulas, having been in school, you look at this and you think, how do 36 learners smoke dagga on school premises?
Openly,
and there's
in the concourse.
Yes, openly, and there's no problem at the school. Clearly there is a problem. Clearly there is some kind of discipline that needs to be enforced, and to say this is not how things should be done. And it always goes back to what kind of environment they're in and the community that they are in.
It was a raucous scene as well. They were not doing it quietly, harshly, hush. It was very loud. So it should have raised some red flags, at least, what that was all about. Okay, Heidi, let's leave it there. Heidi Giokos tracking that story for us around the situation at Leondale High School. Of course, always important to emphasize these are problems in many instances, if not most instances, rooted in what's going on in the community, just simply transplanted into the school.